Shalom. Welcome to the Jewish Task Force, JTF. My name is Chaim Ben Pesach. There is a continuing, ongoing plot to destroy Little Israel, to exterminate Little Israel. And this is a plot that has existed since the beginning of time to destroy the Jewish people. In every generation, we say in our prayers, they come to destroy us, and the Holy One of Israel saves us from their hands. And we see how the whole world, addicted to Arab, Muslim, Nazi oil, is working to demand that Israel commit national suicide. There's going to be supposedly an international conference this November. I hope it never takes place, but this November, November 2007, they're saying that there's going to be an international conference to force Little Israel to accept the creation of an independent PLO, Hamas, Muslim, Nazi terrorist state with Jerusalem as its capital. To force Little Israel to go back to the pre-1967 borders that are only 6 to 10 miles wide. Can you imagine how suicidal this is? What they want to do, and this is the policy of the Bush administration, and it's the policy of the traitors who run Israel, the Ehud Smolmert, the Israeli government, the Israeli Supreme Court, the Israeli army generals, all the Bolshevik leftists, the elitists that control Israel. They all support this as well. They all support this because they're all in the hip pocket of the Jew haters that want to dismember Israel. They all have their interests. The multinational corporations that control Israel's government and control Israel's elites, their interests are together with the multinational corporate interests of Europe and the United States who do deals with the Arab Muslim Nazis. And so the Arab Muslim Nazis want Israel destroyed. And so the multinational corporate traders in Israel are willing to have Israel make the concessions necessary that would be suicidal for the Jewish state. This is what we have. We have national treason taking place in the Jewish state. We have Jewish leaders that are willing to accept an Israeli retreat to the pre-1967 borders, to the Auschwitz lines that are only 6 to 10 miles wide. You have 500 million Arab and Iranian Muslim Nazis who surround 5 million Israeli Jews. The Jews are outnumbered 100 to 1. There are 500 million Arab Muslim Nazis and Iranian Muslim Nazis surrounding the tiny Jewish state. It's 500 million versus 5 million. Again, the Jews are outnumbered 100 to 1. And in terms of territory, the Arab Muslim Nazis have more than 600 times the land that Little Israel has. And yet Israel is being told to give up whatever little land she has and go back to borders that are 6 to 10 miles wide in a situation like this. This is complete insanity. There is no way Israel can defend herself in those borders. There's no way. Within minutes, in a surprise attack, Arab armies can cut Little Israel in half. Every Jewish house, every Jewish town, every Jewish city will be within the range of Arab artillery fire and Arab rocket fire. And we see that the Arabs in Sderot and in southern Israel are attacking Jewish towns. The minute they have the opportunity to, they fire rockets and missiles into Jewish towns, thousands of rockets and missiles into Jewish towns. This will be happening in every town, in every village, in every city, in every neighborhood, in every home in Israel will be within the range of their rockets and their missiles, and they will attack, and they will use those rockets and missiles as they've always done the minute they get an opportunity to. And Israel is being told to put herself in this insane situation when every single day the Arab Muslim Nazi media and the Muslim media in general calls for the extermination of the Jewish people, calls for genocide against the Jews, calls for pushing the Jews into the sea and committing a Holocaust against the Jewish people. And at a time like this, Israeli leaders want to put their people in a situation where Israel will be indefensible? And the Bush administration and Secretary of State Condoleezza Rice support all of this? I mean, it's unbelievable the insanity that takes place here as far as the Jews are concerned. The fact that the Jews have leaders that support this and a traitor news media in Israel that pushes for this constantly. This is why JTF is so essential. This is why JTF is so essential. If we do not succeed, terrible things are going to happen. Our leader, Rabbi Meir Kahana, Zecher Tzadik Livracha, Hashem Yikom Damo. May the memory of the saint be immortalized. May God avenge his blood. And you see his picture over here. He was the greatest Jewish leader in Jewish history. And when he was a member of the Israeli parliament, the Knesset, before they anti-democratically, fascistically banned him, Rabbi Kahana warned, if you don't accept Kahana, you're going to get Arafat. And everybody ridiculed and mocked him. There's no, what are you, crazy? We'll never deal with Arafat. Arafat is another Hitler. He's murdered thousands of Jews. He was dancing on television when they murdered Jewish babies in Maalot and Kiryat Shmone, and he was dancing on Egyptian Muslim Nazi television, celebrating and laughing when he heard that they murdered, that his PLO terrorists had thrown Jewish 5-year-old Jewish kids off of the rooftop in Ma'alot. They went into a kindergarten and went and ordered all the frightened little 5-year-old Jewish kids to a rooftop in Ma'alot and threw the kids off the roof to their deaths. And Arafat was celebrating and laughing when he heard about this on Egyptian television. And so the idea that Israel would deal with a monster, a Nazi monster, another Hitler like this, unthinkable, they said. Unthinkable. They said Rabbi Kahana is crazy for suggesting we would deal with someone like this. Rabbi Kahana said, you're not only going to deal with him, you're going to give him land, you're going to give him everything, you're going to wind up handing over the country to him. And they said, oh, Rabbi Kahana is so crazy. Can you imagine Israel doing something like that? The left would never do that, they said. And Rabbi Kahana said, I'm not talking only about the left. The Likud will do it as well. The Likud is also left, but people think that it's not left-wing. They think it's right-wing. They're a bunch of frauds. They are left-wing too. And of course, the Likud did wind up doing it. And of course, everybody did welcome Arafat to the land of Israel with 80,000 armed Muslim Nazi terrorists. And everything Rabbi Kahana predicted would come true, did come true. Because if you don't accept the Kahanas, if you don't accept JTF, if you don't help JTF, this is what will happen to Israel. Eventually there will be, God forbid, a PLO, Hamas, Muslim, Nazi terrorist state in the heartland of biblical Israel that will be a dagger in the heart of Israel. Israel will be rendered completely indefensible. This is national suicide. And I'm telling you, if you do not support us and give us the power to stop this, God forbid, this will come to pass, God forbid, unless we take action to stop it. Or unless God miraculously intervenes. I hope that God does. We pray for God to intervene. But we're not allowed to depend on miracles. We've got to do everything in our power. And of course, the merit that we get much greater schut, we get much greater merit when we ourselves stop it, when we don't depend on God to do it, when we do what is necessary for Kiddush Hashem to sanctify God's name. There's much greater merit for the Jews and righteous Gentiles that stand up for little Israel. And Gentiles also had better be very concerned about what happens to little Israel. Because what happens to little Israel will affect the whole world. I will bless them that bless thee and curse them that curse thee, God says, as part of an eternal covenant with the Jewish people in the Bible. And we've seen throughout history that that is true. The whole world will pay a terrible price, especially America and Europe, will pay a terrible price if this continues to happen to Israel. If they continue to vivisect and dismember the tiny Jewish homeland that God calls the apple of his eye. God said that Israel is the apple of his eye. God said, Israel is my son, even my firstborn. That's what God says when Moses went to Pharaoh. He said, Israel is God's firstborn. It's his son and it's his firstborn. And we have thousands, literally thousands of warnings by the Hebrew prophets. Almost every other verse in the Bible is warning the nations not to dare go against Israel. And everybody can't wait to gang up on little Israel and get little Israel to commit suicide, to squash little Israel and help the Arab Muslim Nazis move in and destroy little Israel. And the Jewish, self-hating Jewish traitor leaders that the multinational corporations put in power in Israel are also in favor of this. They're betraying the Jewish people and stabbing the Jewish people in the back. We desperately need new leadership. We desperately need an end to this. We desperately need a new day in Israel. And that's why JTF is so important. If you love the state of Israel and believe in the Bible and believe in the fulfillment of biblical prophecy and you understand the unbelievable importance, there's no issue as important as this. If you understand that, then you have to support us and join with us and help us fight this and help us save little Israel from catastrophe. In your heart, you know we're right. And in your guts, you know they're nuts. You see our address? That's the address of our website. Here's the address of our forum. Join with us before it's too late. Join with us because we still can change history, turn the tide, and save Israel, America, and the world if only we have the will to act. Shalom.